Hello and welcome to the Nordic Keyforge podcast. My name is Jason, the Captain Kirk, and I am here with three awesome people. We have Carl. How you doing, beekeeper?
Doing good.
Algernon 2, as we now know you, because you got hacked to the stuff.
clone. Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
supposed to say anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if everyone's friends with Algernon R, not without a 2, he's not the real him. Can the real?
Wait,
Yeah,
Algernon
you shouldn't.
please tell me?
Why is my
Don't talk to my old account on Discord if it still
Can
exists.
you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Don't click any download links that he sends you.
Yeah,
No.
don't do that.
Yeah, but my recording does not show any voice being recorded.
Yeah, you're recording.
Okay,
I'm
mine
getting-
shows a
I'm
flat
getting you.
line. I guess I'm dead to Zencaster. Hello, everyone. Zaramis, hi.
Yeah,
Nice
but
intro,
it
Zaramis, yeah.
Mine shows a flat line for me as well, but maybe not for you.
Right.
I'm
okay.
getting people here, so
Yeah, I'm getting everyone as well.
Yeah, so I'm here. Hello.
yeah, awesome, yeah. So yeah, Simon's here. Jonas, you're here.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi. How's it? How is everyone?
Oh man, it's such a long time ago. I have to go first here because last time I hadn't even gone into the season yet. I was still feeling confident. The things were looking good. Yeah, that didn't last.
Yeah. No.
It will be
Really not.
depressing.
Okay, let's jump straight into it. How's your Forge month gone?
Yeah. So it's divided into different pieces. First comes, I go into NKFL thinking it's gonna go well. I am prepared for WoE. It goes to hell. I just lose 3-0 in the first game. My lineup is trash. I get a really bad feeling for things. I also don't like WoE there for a while. But then me and Gunnar starts playing a lot of WoE together, and we decide to run a big tournament with some Vietnamese decks.
Right.
And as I lose in NKFL, we are playing this thing next to it, and man, that was amazing. We opened 72 decks, then we drafted from those 72 one lineup each of 16 decks. And then we played a team Swiss, where you try to play Swiss, where you always face one of the opponent's decks. In the order we seeded them, like from my best deck faced his worst, and so on. They slowly converged on each other. And we played that for many, many rounds until there was one grand winner in a double LM finals, basically. So that was some of the funniest and most fun Keyforge I've had in a long time. It's really great, and I've opened some really amazing decks in that tournament as well, including my probably new favorite Keyforge deck, only known as Kai Bang because I can't pronounce the other words in it.
Yeah. What's special about that deck?
Man, it is so. It is a classic Equidon Unfathomable Starlines, with Starlines providing efficiency, Equidon providing some utility, and Unfathomable providing disruption. But it has 4.6 Ember control, which is really bad. When I first looked at it, it had 16 speed, and you prospector decks and so on with 16 speed, they usually feel a big disappointment. But then I realized this is not a prospector deck. It has 16 pure speed. It doesn't get any from its tokens. In fact, the tokens are barely relevant. So it has almost, and it gets -2 for Maelstrom. So it has 18 speed purely in draw pips and sorting and archiving. And in WoE,
Nice.
that is extremely high. Then it also has few token creators, and all the token creators can you have these sorting the deck things in Starlines, and then you use your token creators to get rid of cards that you don't want. So it has 2 Ornate talking trays that are only there to oh, I looked at the top card, it's a bad one. Instead of putting it at the bottom, I make it into a token and just get rid of it. I never reap. It only has 11 creatures with Hold the Line. Yeah, it's so beautiful. I'm in love. It's been the most fun Keyforge I've played in such a long time.
No, but because you won, or you're winning in a good way.
It's such a fun deck to play with. So many small tricks that it can do, and it can build up into these interesting turns. It has a very cool camaraderie with 2 draw pips, and you play a very innocent Starlines creature. They don't kill it because it's a do nothing Starlines creature. Then you use both your Ornate talking trays to create tokens on both sides. Play camaraderie and draw 6 cards with the 2 draw enhancements, for example. Is a very nice,
Cool.
fun play with
So
it.
now we've got some inside information so that people can beat this deck next
exactly.
season. Yeah. Awesome. Nice one.
Yeah. So what token was it? I missed the first part.
It's a
because I
diplomat,
was...
but I've
Okay,
basically
diplomats.
never used a token in it. So
Yeah. All right.
yeah.
Is this a deck I played against you in a random game or no?
I only played in competitive, so you probably did play against it.
Okay. Yeah.
But that was my Forge month. My league ended very poorly with a bad track record, but I managed to stay in silver, I think. So I have high hopes for the next season. Also, all my decks in the solo tournament that we're playing are all being like eliminated and crushed and stomped on, which is making me further depressed.
So a bit of good, a bit of bad.
Bit of good, bit of bad. And my comments on the news and everything will come later in the main episode.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about the news today, so that's the main thing. Simon was too excited about his Fortnite that he just jumped in there before we got to introduce, but that's fine, Simon.
Yeah, I didn't even get time to talk about my stomach bug.
So let's move on to
Hydro is here as well. Welcome, Hydro.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I will spare you the stomach bug.
If you're wondering about the beep right now, that is us censoring Hydro's very graphic descriptions.
Yeah, exactly. How many times did you throw up again? How many meatballs were in there? Yeah. So if you missed it all, it's because I've done some very good editing here to kind of edit out the details here.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got the skills. Yeah, awesome. Well, let's just carry on talking about our Fortnite. Mine's going to be really short because I can't remember my games anyway. I never do. So, Carl, how are you surviving in your division?
Well, I actually didn't finish my division yet. I have one last game. I played on Saturday versus JGG, and it's basically the winner of us, of whoever wins that game will stay in Diamond, and the loser will drop to Gold. So
high stakes.
Interesting.
Oh,
High stakes to end up with. But yeah, a decent season, I think. And then, like in the solo tournament, since Saramis complained about his decks doing poorly, I have to complain about my decks doing even worse.
Wow.
I'm at the fourth from the bottom of players at 35%.
Oh wow!
With my decks.
Ouch.
And no deck is even close to going through to the second round. So
okay, I had one that was fairly close. I guess that's better than.
Yeah, I still have, I guess, hopes for Burton, but I think it's 0-2 at the moment. So
what?
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm severely wondering about how some people are playing my decks in that.
But
I think Burton is not that easy to play. Maybe it doesn't have speed.
No, I'm not saying it's easy to play, but it's. I think the deck I have left that I think could,
highest hopes for.
Yeah, highest hopes for, I guess. But yeah, otherwise I feel like I'm quite overwhelmed with all. I have a lot of small-ish tournaments going on. I still have Kage games to play, also versus JDG actually, in order to see if I get to the playoffs or not.
Yeah, the middle playoffs.
Yeah, and then we have the Battle of the Tokens in the nkfl, where I'm in the winner bracket final in Strange Shell. So that's coming up. I'm also in the
Can you
final
explain that a little bit? I saw it mentioned, but just for our listeners.
So Battle of the Tokens is a 16-player mini tournament where each player chooses a deck containing a specific token. So in the Strange Shell, everyone will play a Strange Shell deck.
Strange Shell, okay.
And then I think the purpose is after all these tournaments, one for each token has finished. It's like a playoff with the winning decks, I think. If we get that far, but it's quite a long way there.
I was just going to say it sounds like quite a long thing, but
yeah,
but my two best decks are like a Raider and Diplomat. I think I would have had a pretty good chance there.
Yeah, probably. So maybe if we still stick to this idea when we get to Diplomat and Raider, you can.
Yeah, you need to tell me about those.
Your decks can shine.
That's my jam.
But also the name deck. Actually, Beekeeper is went to the final in the name deck.
You still in there?
Yeah, still
nice.
in there.
Nice.
So I'm gonna
cool.
play Quick Draw in the final someday.
Cool.
And then ABR is going on. Start the first round of that and got a win earlier today. So I think overall, I mean, it's going well. But yeah, a lot of small tournaments just to keep track of. So I feel a bit overwhelmed. But yeah, that's it, I guess.
Oh, yeah, lots of Keyforge. You can't complain.
Yeah. True.
Apart from the fact that you don't have the time to play it, but
Yeah.
So I guess you can complain.
I guess I can complain a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's my own inability to plan and to organize things. That's what I can complain about. That I didn't get the brain I deserve.
Cool. How's your season going, RJ?
It's going quite okay. Since last time I had a loss, which was a bit frustrating because I lost a game that was very winnable by not pushing enough. Bad call. So I gave my opponent a chance to win the first game, and then the second match, yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but I lost, and then won the last one. So that means that before, if I had won 2-1, I would have been guaranteed to be promoted into the next round. Now I still have something to play for in the next round. Basically, if I win a single game, I will finish top of the division. But if I lose all 3 games and make fewer than 4 keys, which that's quite unlikely, I guess, since I have rush decks. But anyway, if that happens, then I end up in 3rd place.
Yeah. So you're pretty much there. But
no,
we won't count our chickens.
Yeah. You'll be first.
But I also played the kind of the final of the winners bracket of the Unchained Cup today, and I managed to win it.
Nice.
I would say it was a steal, because if my opponent had known that with 2 befuddles he could completely lock me out the turn, they would have won. It was that close, but they played befuddle and then befuddle, say the same house, where I actually had a pretty good turn. So yeah, without that I would have lost for sure. I told him after the game, so if we meet again for like the final, then he will not make the same mistake, or she or they. So yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, so some wins for today at least, so that's good.
Yeah, very nice. Well, I do remember my last game. I do remember who it was against. So this might be a little bit more interesting for those who care. I did lose my last game. I still got my last game to play, but I lost against Paps Peer 2-3, 3-2, 2-3. 2 of the games could have gone either way. That's kind of the story of my life with Keyforge. Just getting over the line, I'm really, really struggling with in a lot of games. But this game, the whole season, apart from against Dave C, I've got my matchups correct. Like I've planned my matchups and I've got the matchups I wanted, even if I didn't win. This time, the matchups were pretty much against me. So by the fact that I didn't get the win, or I was so close, I guess is a good thing. The other thing is, these last game, I could have won 2-1 instead of losing 2-1, because if he didn't have the key cheats, he won with a key charge. The game was mine. It kept on going backwards and forwards, and I held out to the last minute, and if he didn't have the key charge, the game would have been mine, because he didn't have the rest of the Emperor control in, and I was in check, and he just went bam, bam. And he was ready to win. So it was a case of, that was a bit unfortunate. It made me feel very sour about key cheats. Maybe a discussion for another day. But I kind of remembered my one of my friends here in Quiver talking about how he really doesn't like the key cheats in Keyforge, and I was like, yeah, it's fine. And I'm now thinking, yeah, I kind of agree with him a little bit, because like I did everything right in that game to hold off a better deck, and I just didn't. Yeah, it's tough to lose when you've played so well to a key cheat, but it's part of the game, and so it is. The last game of the season for me is against Houdini, and we have 4 players, including Paps, Pierre, Houdini, Jerry, 98, and TV Shop are all on 9 games. If I win 2-1, looks like I will be on 3rd place, possibly 4th place. I'm currently in 7th place. If I win 3-0, both myself and Paps Pierre stay up, and Houdini does his own great escape, disappearing out down to the lower divisions. If I lose, I'm gone. So I basically got to win 2-1 to survive. If I lose, I'm down. If I win 3-0, then Houdini goes down. So it's a very, very interesting situation.
Who are you playing in the final round?
Houdini.
Oh, Houdini. Okay.
Yeah.
So you both have something to fight for in that game also.
We both have a lot to fight for in that game. It's going to be really good. Hoping he's going to be free on Friday night so I can stream it. So it'll be good Friday night entertainment for those who have their Friday night at the same time as me. If not, Friday lunchtime if you're in America. So yeah, so that's my NKFL. My actual Keyforge playing has been very, very outside of NKFL has been very little. I've had a lot of streaming issues with lag, etc. So I have upgraded my PC and built a new one. So a lot of effort has gone into preparing to kind of go again with YouTube content and streaming, etc. So yeah, a lot of my time has been going into that and playing some good board games as well in my spare time. More local news, I've also been setting up some Keyforge tournaments as well, but we can talk about that when we come to the news, because that's going to kind of come in with the Store Championship section of the news. We done Fortnite within 17 minutes.
Yes, but I want to ask a question to you all before we move into the main topic, and that is, how are you all looking? We will probably have an episode about this, hopefully, but how is your feeling going into the next season? And because it's starting to be time to sign up, are people staying roughly with the same hydro, or are people thinking new? Are you gonna bring a lot of WoE in and so on? Like, because I'm changing almost in my entire lineup, I think.
Yeah, I will at least bring in one new WoW deck. It's like the single. It's the only deck I play right now. It's my new love.
Oh, is it the one that I faced?
Maybe. Yeah, it's the Prospector deck.
Yeah. The one I stomped. I got it.
You did? I don't actually remember you stomping me, so maybe. Not. Okay, maybe you did. But yeah, I think you theorized of you stomping it in the Discord, but I don't think we actually did play.
I'm sure we did. I'm pretty certain we played that game.
Okay, all right. No, maybe I just remember my wins, then not my losses. But yeah, I will bring that deck in for sure. And then, yeah, maybe if I find something else, but as it looks now, it's just going to be that and keep 5 of the current 6, I think.
Just to be clear, I don't know. I was just talking.
I'm not sure either. My WoW has done pretty good. My Hallavest has actually been very, very fun to play. And I've got one deck that's been a bit of a weak link, which has been the Dark Tidings one. I haven't really felt I've wanted to pick it. I've always gone for the non-Dark Tidings deck, which is a shame because it's my favorite Dark Tidings deck. But at the same time, I don't really trust it, if that makes sense. So I might put another woe deck in. Last time I opened up a pretty fun prospector deck with my advent calendar before.
Nice.
Which is pretty fun. I'm not going to go too much into it because I'm still exploring it. But it's got a lot of trading frenzy, a lot of backwards and forwards with creatures and everything. So there's a lot of the Equidon fun that you can expect from that. So I'm kind of thinking about putting that one in, but I haven't really thought. I'm kind of thinking. I'm looking into the Alliance Season 2 stuff at the moment because now the new restricted list has come out. The Spanish deck that I bought is viable for a nice Worlds Collide alliance, which includes my 3 Edis and a 4th Maverick Edi with Morpheus and Stealth Mode. So the deck that I bought blindly without checking the restricted list is now legal.
Nice.
And I'm actually
too bad no one wants to play Alliance though.
Yeah.
but yes.
I'm taking my wins, man. I'm taking my wins.
Yeah, when you have a tournament with only one player, you can finally be a winner, Jason.
Yeah. No, I think I mean, NKFL Alliance is a lot of fun where you have to pick 6 pods.
Wait, does that mean that we're talking to the? Are we talking to the Swedish champion in Alliance?
Me?
Yes.
Who is that?
The only person participating.
No, that's right. I think it was like 24 people signed up for this one as well. Yeah, I do still quite like Alliance.
I mean, Linus who likes Alliance too.
Yeah, it's
there are a few.
It's not as, I mean, yes, sealed is better. And I like sealed as a tournament format.
Are we opening the topic now?
No one wants to hear my plans for next season.
I want to, but Jason just wants to talk about Alliance. Hydro.
So it's not too surprising, but
I'll bite my tongue.
It's not too surprising, but I will keep most of my lineup like I usually do.
That's all you wanted to say.
Why?
But I changed 2 decks going into this season. So I changed out my Quicksilver deck and my several thousand games deck low curve for 2 WoW decks. One Halafest with Extreme Rush, and the other like a kind of crushy deck with 19 pips and just a lot of I don't know if it's exactly 19, a high number of Amber on play and a lot of removal. That deck I wasn't sure about actually. I put it in as like a test to see how it would do, and every match I've played with it in the league has won. But I'm still uncertain. I went and played with it on TCO the other day, and I had like a 6-game losing streak against like really good Bowie. So I don't know if we will still do well next week, but next season. But I don't know. I think it complements my lineup quite well with all the rush I have. So I think that's why it does well in the league anyway. It's like a Hexed deck more than a straight Archon deck, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the other deck, I don't know. I have my triple Infernus quadruple Rad Penny deck, which is very good, and it's good for getting banned, but I don't find myself wanting to play it that often, probably because it doesn't fit my Hexed. So if anything is going out, it's that one. But so far I don't have anything better to replace it with. So yeah, it's like the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I hadn't realized you changed out your
I changed up low curve.
Your 7,000 gaming deck.
2,800, but yeah.
Rip low curve. I'm a few off. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's around that mark anyway. But yeah, no, I didn't realize you'd switched that out. But glad it's gone well for you. with that. And I guess how did your Hallowfest go this season? Is that the one that did well, or
that one I haven't played.
you haven't played because it gets banned?
It gets banned, or I find a better matchup with the other decks. So
okay, fair enough. Yeah,
that's another reason why I love my new deck with only 11 creatures. I often just discard them. There's nothing to fight, and everyone's 20 C decks are just wasted. I'm like, play creatures, do that.
Anti meta.
Yeah.
Let's get into it then. Let's get into like all the news and our reactions on the is it the 5 articles? No, okay. There's been 4 articles. There was one about the new tournament rules and guidelines for 2024. So I don't know, maybe Jonas could do a episode on that one at some point. I know you like the rules, so but let's start from the side. The first one that came out was the rise of sealed, and I've already started talking about sealed, so we'll start with sealed. Sealed is back in competitive Keyforge. Does anyone want to go into what this article was about?
I haven't read it, so
I can make a very brief summary. It was both an admission that they had listened to what people were saying and that they had thought about it and that they wanted it to be competitively viable. And so Sealed is back, but it's Sealed Alliance 3 decks as a competitive format. And they said that you are allowed to open only one deck and play with it, and I believe tournament organizers could decide to play it with fewer. Was that correct?
No.
Yep.
Okay. That was only a discussion people were having. That
players bring between 1 and 3 sealed decks. Player's choice. Yep.
Sorry. So you were not allowed to limit that.
No.
And which essentially means that some people can choose to limit themselves and have a worse chance. But it also means that if you don't want to spend more money and it's not a tournament you really care about winning, you can say, oh, I'll just open 1 this time. So it is a way to tell people that are participating, like, you want to open 1, 2, or 3, depending on how much money you want to put in, which makes it a lot easier, in my opinion, to get something started. You can say, today we're playing a store championship sealed. We recommend that people open 1, but you're allowed to open 3. Go ahead and go for it.
Yeah. And I like that because people have different size.
Then it's always Alliance sealed, or
yes, but you can play only 1 deck. So then it's suddenly Archon sealed if everyone does that.
Yeah, if everyone does that, but you could do that before with Alliance sealed as well if you wanted to.
But yes, it's only Alliance sealed. And there's been a lot of arguments around this from people. Some people are saying that they didn't bring back the sealed people wanted, that it's a big difference that you don't get to keep the decks. For me, I've never seen that big of a difference from Open 3, Pick 1, and Alliance sealed. Like, I don't expect any of the decks I open to be Archon strength anyways. I don't really care about keeping them together as singular decks. The algorithm did that, sure, but it sucks to open really bad decks. If they, however, are good enough as a single deck to be played in Archon, well, then I probably won't Alliance it anyway, because then it's probably the 3 best pods in that group of decks. So then I get to enjoy that deck anyway, because my Archon decks are so strong by now.
Or you could Alliance it and then realize later that the deck you opened actually was a really good. Like my new deck is actually one I opened for the last chance qualifier, but I chopped it up and made it worse with other pods in that one. So you can do that if you want to.
Yeah. So what do you mean by you can't keep the decks?
Or... No, you can keep it, but some people, like, if you do regular sealed, you will be playing a deck that you have opened and it's a full contained deck.
Yeah.
But I don't know what people's criticism against the Alliance format is, that they don't like to construct decks at all, or if it's like fundamentally different to open decks and mix them up versus just opening decks.
So I can explain. I don't like Sealed Alliance as much as normal Sealed, and I can try to explain some of the reasons. One is, and it's a very personal thing, it's maybe a bit stupid, but for me, I find the whole process of opening the decks looking at them making the best possible combination and sleeving in 30 minutes quite stressful. So that's just one thing that I don't like. It takes, I don't know, I'm just slow in general with everything I do. So it takes me 10 minutes to sleeve to begin with. So that's one thing I dislike. But that's maybe a minor point. A bigger problem for me is there is not really much space in Keyforge for mediocre decks. Like opening a deck that's not super good will not see a lot of play later. I mean, I play all my decks 10 times, but most people don't. So the fact that you have a format where you can just open a deck and you have a field where almost everyone has not super optimized decks, that's a kind of experience you can only get in sealed, and one that I enjoy playing. I enjoy playing more when I have to work with not fully optimized tools, and also my opponent most of the time don't have fully optimized tools. And I think that's the biggest reason.
So it's unfair if you only have the one deck or you choose the one deck.
Yeah,
against.
It's just that it's sealed with unchanged decks is like the only time in a competitive event after they removed something like adaptive, where you play not Archon. Like with Alliance, you can most of the time make a pretty good deck, but in sealed, without in Archon sealed, both you and your opponents has to play decks with weaknesses, and I find that interesting to do. And it's also a big part of the pitch from Richard Garfield, that you play not the perfect deck, you play your deck with all its blemishes, and I feel that's something that gets lost from the game and from the competitive aspect of the game if you don't have sealed as a competitive format. And I know a lot of people, they don't get to come out and play events that often. So yes, if you have a local store where you play a couple of times per month, sure, you can play sealed with your friends there, but and that's what I do. So I guess I can get my fill anyway from there. But for those players who don't get to play as often, sealed, it's maybe I think it's an experience. Like, they would come out to the store championships and the bigger events to play, and they never really get to play that event where the deck they open, which is a random deck and not super great, still has a chance because the field is weaker than in an Alliance. That's kind of my explanation for why I think Archon Seal or Seal Archon should have a place in these events.
Just the one deck,
yeah.
Or
and whether that's picking one of three decks or just opening one deck doesn't matter that much for me. But yeah,
I was there playing AOA sealed. I will never want to open one deck and play with one deck again.
Yeah, I can't say I really enjoy regular sealed that much, just opening one deck and playing it. But it has advantages, like the price point is lower. I guess, I mean, I don't have a problem with Sealed Alliance. I think it's a perfectly fine format. I don't really like this, like the announcement of going for unified sealed, and like saying they introduced sealed again when really they didn't, in my opinion. Like opening up for people to just making themselves handicapped and just choose one deck unmodified, versus people who use 3 decks and putting them together, just feels like no addition at all. Like, people could do that before as well if they wanted to. I really don't see what they added here.
Sounds arrogant and a bit self-assured without reason in their announcements. Wow, that would be such a surprise.
I'm not saying it's arrogance, but I'm saying it's a dishonest way of just marketing something it's provoking for me, and probably for a lot of other people as
Yeah.
well who has been asking for sealed, for them to announce it in this way, because I don't think it's adding sealed at all.
I have
and
another.
I'm not saying like sealed. I think sealed should be like at the top level necessarily. I think 3-deck sealed, sure, that could be a thing. I don't really see it as a necessarily like a Vault Tour format, but I think for a small community like in Sweden, if we have a store championship where we can play sealed, I think that could draw people. So in that way, I think it's important for it to be in the like an official format for those types of tournaments like nationals, store champs. I still think it would be fine for them to add, like to say that Voltours is going to be Archon and Alliance if they want to keep doing Alliance. And yeah, I really don't really see their like policy about the formats and not dividing communities and stuff. I find it a bit weird, the whole thing.
I haven't had a chance to reflect so much on the tone of the article or anything like that. I'm coming at this from a very objective view of sealed is back, and what are we actually getting to play with, what's available to play with here. Whereas if I read through the article properly, which I haven't actually done yet, I might feel the same that way as well as you, Carl. But I think I'm more positive about this because we are in a place where, this is store championship, so this is actually a level of organized play, and more than just your casual event that you turn up with. They need to have some kind of guidelines, more solid guidelines to say, well, you can bring one, you can bring three, you can bring two if that's what there's a small level. The price point coming in that we've obviously already talked about. I like that, but I also like the fact that then the point of why Alliance came in before, especially Seal Alliance, of, well, like, I've turned up to Sealed Alliance. I've traveled an hour away and turned up and got an absolutely awful deck that I've had to play with because I can only buy one. If I have some kind of way to enhance my experience because I've made the journey, I've made that trip, then I'm kind of all for that. If I open one deck and it's a great one and like I feel comfortable and I'm going to enjoy playing that one deck, that's great. But like Simon said, trying to play AOA Sealed when you've picked up a 40 SAS absolute stonker, you're not going to have a good time playing it. So if you're paying money, and I'm not sure I don't know if you have to, if there is a if there's a fee to do a store championship, but if you're paying money to do something, you want a chance of doing well, so you can kind of choose your experience in that way. However, the level playing field, I really do see that point, because open one deck, you play with what you get, and you do the best of what you can, and you don't have time to really crack it.
The experience would probably be worse to get that 40 SAS deck if I went with one deck, and if my opponents get 3, and they can switch pods and make an alliance out of it.
Yeah,
because then it would be in the regular sealed.
That kind of 45 SAS deck can win a sealed event. They usually have a lot of creatures that can reap, but they can for sure not win a sealed alliance event.
Where you have something, I mean, I definitely see the level playing field thing, that actually, if you do turn up with one, then, and that's what you do. But it could be the people that want to just play with one and they don't want to open another one, and they just want to enjoy playing with what the algorithm has given them, then they have that option to do that. But I agree with the unfairness of the non-level playing field here as well. So, but you've got to, it's a step in the right direction.
I had some points. I had something I wanted to say with regard to what Algernon said before, with how it was communicated. That I wanted to add to, which made this feel worse to me. Two things. First was, if we go back 1.5 years, a bit less, 1 year and 3 months, to when they first announced the formats, and they had Sealed, Archon, and Alliance, where Sealed was actually Sealed Alliance with 2 decks. Archon was a kind of bastardized triad that no one liked, and Alliance. And a lot of people complained. And what they did to placate the community and extend an Olav branch was to say, okay, we listen, we introduce Sealed Archon and Sealed Alliance. And maybe I'm stupid, but I believed in that. I said, okay, great. They listened and they did that. And then they never organized a single event with Sealed before they removed it as a format and said, okay, now we have unified Sealed. And it's not even Sealed with 2 decks, which they already got. I mean, Sealed Alliance with 2 decks, which they already got feedback could be a bit expensive and so on. It's even more in that direction. It's Sealed with 3 decks, Sealed Alliance with 3 decks. And I feel misled, actually. I feel because they said they would give us Sealed. They never did anything, and then they did something that was even more Alliance like than what they said originally, that people didn't like. So I feel like, what was all that about? Why announce a format, never to use it, and then remove it? It felt really strange. I felt really like I was being lied to or misled. I felt really upset by that. And also, the way the article is written itself, it's really funny. They talk about how Sealed is the ultimate expression of Keyforge. It's the first chance to play with a new deck. It's a skill that we should reward. And that, so basically they describe every way that Sealed Archon is great in, and then they say, now we kill Sealed Archon. and I don't know. It really, maybe I get disproportionately upset by this more than I should, just because of the tone of that. But it made it sting a lot more. And yeah, I realize it's maybe not super. Yeah, I mean, I'm not fully rational, maybe, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, but I agree with your points, and I think communications, like the way you communicate, matter a lot. Like the same news written in a different way would not make us feel as upset.
Yeah,
so I think
cannot agree more. This has been like
so. GG has like so much to learn in that regard. I think in the way they write their articles, because like the whole community wants them to succeed, and like we want good things. But if you keep writing articles that like it's just PR, and it's just like sugar coating bad news, making it like an announcement like this: Sealed is back, and then you remove Sealed. That's the news.
I agree so much.
That's really weird to me.
And
so it's very difficult to be excited about that.
And it's not even competent PR. Like you can do PR if you're good at it, but they're not good at it. It's
yeah, true. Like good PR doesn't feel like PR. So
I've tried saying this to them as well when I was playtesting and after as well. I'm like, community management. Like you have some incredibly loyal fans that want to buy. It's one of the games with like the biggest whales that just put in so much money. We want this game to succeed. Can't you just make new sets, do basic Keyforge, and don't write articles over promising things? We understand that you're trying to be the hype man of a game, but you're trying to hype to audiences that don't exist yet while pissing off your fans. And they seemed to have this idea that they don't need the community. Well, the community is all they have. They don't have the benefit of a new company. They don't have Asmodee on their side trying to promote their game. They don't have anything if it wasn't for the Keyforge community. So just communicate with us. Stop doing these, like, have focus groups of members. See, like, how would this be perceived? I mean, I can't talk obviously about what we said or talked about while we were testing, but we definitely did not talk about focus groups. And it would have been so great, like take some of the most active members of the community, be like, hey, here's a preview. What does this make you feel? Like all other big PR companies have NDA focus groups that can react to your news posts.
Yeah. I mean, they are a small company. Like, sure, they may not feel like they have the resources to do that all out, but I think
then don't write anything at all. Don't
yeah,
change things
I mean,
constantly.
do
Just
something
sets.
small. Just yeah, I think
Yeah.
it can be improved so much.
Why are they trying to innovate on a game that could have they could have kept like a bigger percentage of the existing fans if they had just kept on going sealed, solo Archon, selling sets? How hard is it to just keep doing what the game was already doing but don't produce bad sets? That is like, and don't be FFG saying nothing and communicating nothing and organizing no tournaments. That's also part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also think that like a lot of the articles are kind of lecturing in like giving arguments about this is why we do this, and now you should realize like why it's a good decision, and I think that's also a poor move by them.
They're on the defense before.
Yeah, but since like for example the whole not dividing the community, so we remove some of these formats, and then talking at length about how many different formats will split the community, how that is bad, and then introducing Alliance and seeing how Alliance has done this year. I don't really see like how that's not splitting the community, and also the way they have done the Vault Tours, that like you have to choose. Like every Vault Tour has had both, and you have to choose between the two, instead of just having one big event maybe and alternating between. Then you could have had sealed as well, I think. So that's like part of the argument of how we cannot have like regular sealed alliance is that it would be too time consuming for the big events to have all of these things running. But why would you have to run all of the formats for the big events? That's just a decision that you can change if you want to. I think that's weird.
And
I
there
have
is
discovered a magic formula. Sorry, go ahead, Hydra. I've already spoken a lot.
okay. Yeah. So I agree completely with you that I think you don't need to have every format at every event. But even if you do need to do that, there is an easy change they can make to this unified seal if they don't want to increase the number of formats, and it's to say that you can give the tournament organizers the power to decide, should it be alliance, should it be 1 decks, 2 decks, or 3 decks, instead of saying it's up to each player. Then
that is a very simple fix.
Then they can organize all of their events that they make themselves as 3 deck alliance seal. Fine, but at least if some communities prefer to play seal in another way for their store championships or whatever, they get the chance to do that. So that seems like the easy fix for this problem they have created for themselves by always needing to have every format represented in every event.
All right, that was sealed, and we used 20 minutes on it. Do we have equally strong opinions about the other things?
What were the other things?
The other things were the tournaments, the organized play announcements. And they've actually given out a calendar for organized play during 2024, which is a huge step in the right direction and really good. So there is something here, and it's something to be worked on for the future as well, I think, because obviously there's still no kind of monthly casual organized play or organized play packs in that way. But the store championships are coming. They're going to be played during March. I know place Stockholm, they've booked it. I've managed to get Hvda to book to order the packs
nice
as well. So They were very, very happy to do
in
that.
Falun as well, I think.
And they've got that in Falun as well. So I'm pushing for the equivalent one to be early March, based on my availability. But yeah, that's really, really good. You've also got pre-release events at the end of February as well that they've released. So that's kind of big events, very, very close to each other that people have to fit in and stuff. So they probably won't be. I don't know. They might be as popular in Sweden in places where they don't have so many players, but I think people would probably go for the store championships over the pre-release. So close to it. However, like we're talking the time, the role was the turnover, the time between getting found, finishing, getting stuff out. We're going to be getting our decks maybe mid-February, our game found stuff, and we got pre-release coming out end of February. Like the turnaround for this has been phenomenal.
Yeah, I agree.
As well, and you can tell they have been working really, really hard to get this right. And like, take a look at this in the shadow of the sealed conversation that we've just had. Like, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt in both of these areas, because they're a small team and they've got to both give people what they want, try and find a fair way so that they can spend less time having to answer people and more time developing the game, more time putting together store like OP stuff, etc., etc. So like they've done a lot of work, and my view on the seal before is, okay, it might not be exactly what people want, but we're getting there. And we just got to keep pushing. And
I have a different solution that I would like actually to send out to everyone who's disappointed in these things, and it is this.
What's that?
When I quit the game, I was really, really upset with GGG, and I was feeling like they were
GGG.
No, I'm sorry.
Is that the Great Ghost Galaxy now?
That's Grinding Gear Games, Path of Exile, great game. I was disappointed in GG. I felt that they were like disrespecting the player base in many ways, or like not realizing what kind of game they had. But when I decided to come back and start playing again in WoE, I made a decision. I will expect them to do nothing right. I will expect them to have lousy announcements, shitty tournaments, and poor community management. And I've enjoyed the game so much more since then. Every time they post anything, I think, well, at least someone is writing something. Woohoo! It might be a bad thing. Doesn't matter. They're doing something. They're working on the game that I love. Because I am having fun playing Keyforge. And until I'm not having fun playing Keyforge, and either the game will die, or I will find another game that has this addictive quality of opening decks and just having fun with them and seeing them do crazy stuff, I will probably keep playing Keyforge and buying decks. They can fuck up in many ways, but let's be honest here. I haven't been to a GG tournament. I haven't played against any Vault Master decks. I hopefully never will. I'm not affected by anything else except them releasing sets.
So and I have been to a GG tournament, and I have played versus Voltmaster decks, and I have to say that I was really impressed being in Minnesota, and I thought the team was doing great things there. So like I was way more positive after that experience than I was going into it about like my hopes and so forth. I just think like for us here in Sweden, we don't get the best out of like what they can do for us, and we just get these written articles, and maybe like some of us gets some kind of direct communication as well, and that may not be great, but I'm confident that the team is like working super hard and wants the game to succeed. So that part is good. I just don't think they are in like sync just yet with what the community wants, and hopefully we can get there. But like looking at this organization,
I mean, that's the thing, that they're getting closer. For a small team, they are getting closer, and that's the thing that we want to see.
Enough before all players have quit.
I was just going to say, like, looking at this schedule, I think that looks very good, and I think it looks like not promising too much. I think store championships.
Ember Sky's
Cultures.
pre-release in September.
And
No
nationals.
game found has been talked about for Ember Skies yet.
What is there hope that they will not be game founding again?
Yeah,
Because I will never
it will
again
come.
pay
They
for
probably will, but maybe not. I'm just saying, like, there's a date for the Ember Skies pre-release.
Yeah,
and that's the first time that the next set has actually been given a date before the next set has come out.
There will be a game found, I'm pretty sure.
There will be a game
maybe
found.
they're looking for ways to make the game found not completely trash value for all of us. Like, holy crap, I never want to do a game found with that kind of value for the decks again.
Yeah, but looking at the price now for Grim Reminders displays, like the at least preview
the
price,
Swedish,
then the value doesn't look as bad like compared to the retail.
That's true.
What's the retail looking like now for Grim Reminders displays?
1,700, 800, something like that.
Yeah, 1,800 for a display.
Whoa.
But that's the price they got from Asmodee. Maybe it could be changed.
Is that in? Okay, yeah, okay.
But it couldn't be changed like several hundred crowns downwards, I think. So it will be quite expensive.
Okay, cool. Well, that's a shock.
Very
I didn't
quickly
expect that.
to the other news then. No more prize money, yay or nay?
Yay.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I think that money can be better spent on other things, probably.
Yeah. Like I do think though that traveler reimbursements should still stay, not just because I got to use it last time, but I think it's important if you want to have a world championships and you actually want
any kind
to
of
feel, you want it to feel like one, then you need to have that still be a thing.
Yeah,
agreed.
But I wonder what will happen. I'm very curious to see what will happen to Standard Alliance when it's not the easier path to prize money. If they will still see like in the first Vault Tour, they had I don't know, barely 20 people or something signed up for Alliance, and everyone else went into Archon, and then people realized we can win money more easily by going to Alliance. So half of the field came over from Archon, and I wonder what will happen to Alliance if there isn't that chance to prize money.
The data will be more true.
People, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I think there were one World Tour where they had 7, and they had to actually make it so everyone could play both instead.
Yeah.
To even get enough players to actually have a tournament going.
And the data will be more accurate without with what people actually feel like with the show up. And so they'll I think we'll see a very different reaction to Alliance. Hopefully people have liked Alliance so much that they will, I say not hopefully, unhopefully, I don't know, I've got mixed feelings, but it could be that people have tried Alliance so much that they enjoy it so much that they've been turned and they will enjoy it. So now that money isn't an issue.
According to the expert on the opinions of the competitive French community, they have all quit after this.
The French community has quit?
Yeah, that's what Petitbot said. He said
okay.
they all quit because of this. I don't know.
Because of no money?
Yeah, but I don't know if I take what he says seriously. He's kind of joking around a lot in a trolling way myself.
Simon quit and he's back, so
yeah, they will be back. But it will be very interesting to see
I knew
kind of pricing anyway. will they have then as instead of money. What will they give as pricing? Yeah. That will be very interesting to see.
Maybe a small metal tag and a chain pressure.
Maybe. Could be.
Yeah, wow. Cool. Well, the other big thing, there's new tournament rules and guidelines out as well, which looking at the tournament, I'm going to be reading through, and we can have a discussion on that at a later date. The other big stuff out is the Alliance restricted list. There's a little bit of focus on Alliance here.
Wait, are we gonna see who here in the podcast who cares about Alliance restrict? Wow, that's a big.
I care because I can build my Worlds Collide alliance now.
Instead of making a really poor investment, you just made a pretty good investment.
Exactly.
That's
early on. I mean, that deck is probably going to be worth a lot more. I can probably just sell it on.
Linus got a pod from me that I think is still also known as the most beautiful logos pod in the world. Which I think it's not restricted yet. I looked for it for months because it was gone. It was the one he was supposed to bring to Stockholm, and then I finally found it. It's a pretty cool one. It has a lateral shift, Grim Reaper, Dysania, triple information exchange, data forge, memory ship, Tauta Vapors. It's essentially like 2 really great anomalies, and then triple info exchange with data forge and lots of archiving and Dysania. Like, how do you get any better than that? No.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
He was so sad when it was gone.
Yeah, he was kind of frustrated about that.
Yeah. All right.
So should we?
Yeah. So that's the restricted list is up. There's not a huge amount. There's a lot of differences. They've added Befuddle, Cronus, Transponder, Halifest, Infernus, Legionary Trainer, and then they've taken away like Morpheus. They've taken off Silence Officer Morpheus. They've taken away. Restring Guntus isn't here. Any others that Scrambler Storm as well. Key Abduction they've restricted to, is it Martian Generosity?
Martian Generosity they restricted to 1.
They've to 1, but obviously Key Abduction isn't on there at all, so you can still have Genka and you can still have multiple Key Abductions. So yeah, some of the there's some good news. Obviously, Halifest is a clear one on there, and I'm very happy to see Infernus on there because Infernus is still really annoying.
So, but I don't think Infernus was very prominent in the Alliance meta.
So they Help from Future Self did a really good episode where they interviewed Michael Hurley and talked about this list, and he said that they had gone through all of the decks that placed well in top 4 or top 8 or top 2 depending on the size of the event for Alliance, and they had looked at which card showed up a lot, and according to him Infernus was the number 1 card.
It was.
Yeah, but it surprised me as well, because before I heard that I thought I didn't realize Infernus was doing that well, and I thought it was not a needed
I thought most
restriction.
people that placed well did AOA or some MM, but mostly AOA and Winds of Exchange.
Yeah, I think the winners did that, but that there were a lot of runner-ups that played.
Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Yeah. But it's because I kind of feel like Infernus is a good tool to have against some of those like really degenerate lists you will see in Alliance. But after hearing that from that episode, I thought, okay, well, fair enough. It's a bit funny because they really nerfed the best WoW decks with targeting Halifest and Befuddle, which I think is good. It's just funny. It's basically Halifest with some disruption was basically all I could think of for the nationals in Sweden when I needed to come up with a deck in like a week. So now I have absolutely nothing to play in Alliance, which is fine. I didn't really enjoy it that much anyway. So, but it means I will not probably play Alliance.
But they added Legionary Trainer as well, right?
I did not have in that. I had in the deck that brought the Halifest pod. I have triple Legionary Trainer, but I didn't bring that into the Alliance for my Alliance. But yes, they have. Or was the question whether they banned it? Yes, they. Or they
yeah.
Sorry, yeah, they restricted. Yeah, which is good because you see a lot of these.
I think that's
triple, quadruple trainer.
Scholar,
And I mean I say I'm a bit sad that they restricted Halifest, but it's absolutely the right choice. I think all of those cards are the right choice to restrict. It's just that was my deck, so I'm a bit sad. But ultimately I don't really care about Alliance, so it's probably best for the health of the format. So
I mean, you have 7 months now to put together before the next Swedish Nationals, so you have 7 months.
Well, I have 1.5 months or 2 months until the store championship.
Oh yeah, true.
But I'm probably sitting that one out for Alliance. We'll see, but because there is no minimum requirement, I think, in the same way as for Nationals. So it's not like I need to attend to help others.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Cool, nice one. Well, we've kind of gone over kind of the hour mark, so I think we'll kind of start wrapping this. We'll wrap this conversation up now. Just want to say thank you to the people who've kind of reached out and given us some encouragement. That was some really nice words from some people and some really good ideas for future episodes as well. We were going to take out one of those ideas this week, and then we got like 4 news articles out within the space of 3 days, so that got bumped for this. So we'll be back with that topic very, very soon. However, we will say good night and thank you all for listening. Thank you all for sticking with us, and until next week.
Yep, and register for season 23.
What was that?
Register for season 23.
Register for season 23. Yeah, get those registrations in. I might even be playing my NKFL game now. I'm not sure. I need to do that. So we'll see what happens. You might see the result before we get this out. So never mind. Anyway, forge and prosper. Good night. See you later.
Advice for myself these last few days: stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. Yes, for your own benefit, indeed. Bye bye.
Bye bye.